Hello, students. Good morning to all of you. I hope you will fine at your home. So, as per my previous lectures, I actually told you all this thing that we are basically started the unit number 2, that is electromagnetic force and torque. So it is comes in the course that is electrical machine 1, and the code is EE205. And as I earlier told you that electrical machine is a very important subject in electrical engineering. And why it is very important? Because we know that we have to generate electricity. We basically convert electricity. So if conversion is there, so we having mechanical energy and converting into electrical energy. For example, you have already studied about GEP. GEP is generation of electrical power, and we can say the generation part. So in power system, we having generation, transmission, and distribution. That is the power system. So power system and machine are the important and main subjects of electrical engineering. And electrical machine consists two parts, one and two. And one part is totally deals with the DC machines, DC rotating machine. But AC stationary machine we also have to study. Basically, that is a transformer. And I earlier told you that transformer is what? A transformer is a basically static electromagnetic device which is used to transfer the power from one circuit to another without changing its frequency. So my dear student, we basically step up or step down the voltage with the help of transformer. But here in this electrical machine, as I earlier told you, we having as per our curriculum 5 units are there. First unit is deal with basically electrical fields and basically the magnetic field and magnetic circuit. Second unit is this one, which basically which I'm going to teach you basically. That is electromagnetic force and torque. And third unit is basically deals with the DC machine, that is motor and generator. And fourth also deals with that motoring and generating action. And fifth and last unit is deal with the transformer. And the transformer we have, because transformer works on AC not on DC, because we have a static EMF induced in transformer, and that is the static electromagnetic device. So electromagnetic is there but static is there. So we having an alternating flux, the nature we need alternating flux because we have no rotating part in transformer. So we have to vary the flux as per the Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. We have to basically cut the flux in a simple way, in a simple language. If I want to say you, that is the cut the flux. But if I am not cutting the flux, so basically what I want to do, I want to vary the flux. So if I want to vary the flux, my dear student, so I have to do one thing, either rotate the coil or vary the flux. So flux varying will be the nature of that one. Means if we give current of alternating nature, that is I. So we all know by the equations which I previously I taught you in my lectures, that is phi is proportional to I. So we can say phi is basically flux is proportional to the current. So the nature of current is basically proportional to the nature of flux. We can say in either words. So what I want to say you that if the current is of alternating nature, the flux will be of alternating nature. So it is in the nature of alternating, so it may be cut by the coil turns basically. So what happens in the transformer, we having two things, AC, it is alternating current, so alternating flux is there. So now in this lecture basically, we have started the unit number 2. This is the second lecture of unit number 2, which basically I am delivering here. So one thing I want to say you that in this lecture basically we will try to study about the magnetic force and torque. Okay, so in previous I already told you that we having a force law. Basically in the unit number 1 I uh, told you about the four electromagnetic laws, basic electromagnetic laws. One is your the Biot-Savart, second is the Ampere, third is the force, and fourth is your Faraday law of an electromagnetic induction. So if I am talking about the third law, that is the force law, and in either word we can also say that it is an electromagnetic interaction. So whenever there is a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. So we will talk about that force, that is electromagnetic. The line written here, see, electromagnetic. So I am talking about what? electrical and magnetic, means the interaction of electrical with magnetic field. So due to that, what we are going to have, we having the force. And if force is there, so something is moving, one thing is there, if I apply the force on it, it moves. So if it is moving, what happens? Torque will apply. So the my objective to deliver this lecture is help the students to understand about electromagnetic force. So what I want to tell you in this in my lecture, in this lecture I want to tell you about the force. That is which kind of force? Electromagnetic force, means the interaction of electrical magnetic field. Due to that interaction, we are getting the force. So we will tell you about, I will tell you about basically, and you will understand. So how can we create electromagnetic force? So first is this thing. Second, make the student familiar with the torque on current force. So I am talking about force and torque both. So secondly, we will what I want to do, basically I want to make familiar the student with torque on current loops. So different current loops we have, that the basically the behavior of torque on current loops we will discuss later on in this lecture. Okay, so I hope you understand one thing, that we are going to study about the electromagnetic force and then the torque on current loops. Now first, the cyclotron. Now cyclotron is what? Basically the cyclotron is a device that can accelerate charged particles to very high speeds. Now we know that we having a charged particles. For example, if I want to rotate that charged particle, means accelerate that charged particles at very high speed. So cyclotron is a device that do that thing. Basically, we can use this cyclotron to accelerate the charged particles at very high speed. We can say the energetic particles produced are used to bombard atomic nuclei and thereby produce reactions. Now here what we are having, why it do basically do this thing, how it do this thing. So the energetic particles, the particles which having some energy in it, means some energy is there, maybe kinetic energy is there, so it can move very easily. Produce are used to bombard. Produce, how we are producing it? To bombard atomic nuclei, just like your we can say nuclear fusion we having. Okay, we having the nuclear fusion, then the nuclear power plant we can do. So what we are doing here, the energetic particles produce are used to bombard, basically bombard atomic nuclei, the atomic nuclei, and thereby produce reactions. And thereby what? The reactions. Produce reactions. So I hope you understand one this thing. Next, these reactions can be analyzed by researchers. So these action can be analyzed by researchers, analyze so many things that we can do in this. That is what? That is the cyclotron. So here we do we basically bombard the atomic nuclei, and through this we having the energetic particles producing. I hope you understand. Now next, if I talk about the cyclotron, so what happens in the cyclotron? Now D1 and D2, D1 and D2 are called basically Ds because of their shape. Two things are there, D1 and D2. Two things are there. In D1 and D2 are called Ds because of their shape. We having the shape of D. See what we having, the shape of D like this thing. A high frequency alternating potential is applied to Ds. D1 and D2, two things are there. Now what we are going to do? We are basically applying potential to Ds, to these D1 and D2 basically. A uniform magnetic field is perpendicular to them. What happened? Now see, I am applying here a uniform magnetic basically field is perpendicular to them. Here, a positive ion is released near the center and moves in a circular path. Now, a positive ion is released and moving the circular path. This is your circular path, we can say. So here we can show when there is no current in the wire remains vertical. When the current is upward, the wire deflects to the left. When the current is downward, the wire deflects to the right. So we can do this way. We can perform like this way here in this. I hope you understand. Now next, cyclotron. The potential difference is adjusted so that the polarity of the D's, D1 and D2, is reversed. What we can do is reverse in the same time. We can reverse in the same time as the particles. Okay, here we have D1, D2. We having two things, D1 and D2. So the potential difference is adjusted so that the polarity of the D's is reversed in the same time. Polarity reversing at the same time. Adjust like this. One is this, and then second is this. So polarity is reversed in the same time interval. Same time interval, just like your poles. If I am getting the north pole here, then I am getting the south pole here. For example, I am moving like this. We can move like this. Okay, so like this. So north pole vertical is the north is there, south is there. So like this similarity, this is reversed in the same time interval as the particle travels around 1 day, only 1 day. This ensures the kinetic energy of the particle increases each trip. How I'm repeating this thing, I'm doing this thing after. What happens? This ensures the kinetic energy of particle increases each trip. Now, what it ensures basically the kinetic energy of the particle increases in each trip. We having trips, trip to trip to trip. So it is increasing, and then increasing. We can see. Now, the cyclotron's operation is based on the fact that T is independent of the speed. Now, trip is basically the T is independent of the speed of the particles and of the radius of their path. And of the radius of what? Their path. So we can write K is equals to 1 upon 2 mv square, my dear student. That is what? That is the kinetic energy. Simply, we called as m mass and v is the velocity. And we can write K is equals to half of mv square. 1 upon 2 mv square. That is what? That is K. In short form, we use K. K is what? The kinetic energy. So here what we can write? Q charges, B magnetic field, R radius, and M is momentum. We can say. So we can write like this. Now, when the energy of ions in a cyclotron exceeds about 20 MeV, okay, relativistic effect come into play. What happened? Mega electron volt, we having 20 mega electron volt. So relativistic effects come into play if it exceeds about this thing, means certain limit is there. If it exceeds the threshold, that is the 20 MeV, so it basically relative effects come into the play. Now the main work we have which we want to do now come into the play. Most accelerator currently used in research are cyclotrons. Now, most accelerators which are doing the work, which are basically working on it, used in research are cyclotrons. So they are using what? They are using the cyclotrons. So I hope you understand about cyclotron. Next. Now, magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. Magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. So a force is exerted on a current carrying wire placed in a magnetic field. A force is exerted on a current carrying wire placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so what I want to say you something. In previous lectures I already told you about this thing, and in the unit number 1 we have studied about the force law. So that is similar to that one. Whenever there is a current carrying conductor, for example, I having a magnetic field. In that magnetic field I put a conductor. For example, this is a conductor placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so due to this magnetic, what will happen? The force applied on this conductor, the force applied on this conductor, so this conductor force is applied, so it will start move first the here and then moving like this. So the displacement is there. It's the initial position, this is the final position. So what we are going to understand from this, that the displacement is there. So F is there, T is there. F denotes the force and D denotes the displacement. So we are finding what? F cross T, force into displacement. So my dear student, force into displacement is what? Basically torque. So it will start rotating. Okay. Now the current is a collection of many charged particles in motion. It is very simple. We all know it is a basic. What is the basic? That the rate of flow of charges is known as current. So the current is a collection of many charged particles in motion. So many charged particles, but they if they are in motion, so we called collectively we called as a current. Okay. Now the direction of the force is given by right hand rule. The direction of the force is given by what? The right hand rule. Like this. Motion of the conductor in a magnetic field induced EMF. So we can uh, interpret like this. Next, force on a wire. Now, if I want to understand the force on a wire, so we can See, in this case, there is no current, so there is no force. If there is no current, there will be no force. Therefore, the wire remains vertical. If there will be some wire is there, if there is no current, uh, for example, I put a conductor in the magnetic field. Basically, what I'm going to do here, I put a conductor in a magnetic field, wire in a magnetic field. If there is no current in that wire, means there will be no force. The electromagnetic force. If I remove electro, then it's called as magnetic force. So magnetic force takes place when electro is there. Means if electrical field is there in a magnetic field, then we can say the interaction is basically denotes you a force, basically gives you the force, and due to this force torque will occur. But if I'm saying if there is no current on a wire, so there is no force, my dear student. There will be no force always because there is no current. So we can't say there will be some force on that wire. No. So therefore, wire remain vertical. Wire remain always vertical. Now here, what I want to show here, it is a basically conductor, and I put a wire here. For example, I am putting a wire between the north and south pole. When there is no current in the wire remains vertical. It is remains vertical. So we having V out, denoted by cross, that is B out, vertical. When the current is upward, the wire deflects to the left. See here, my dear student, see here. Now, in the previous case, in the previous to previous case, that is called as initial case or first case, if there is a wire placed in a magnetic field, it is a magnetic field, and I having a wire placed in it like this. See, this is the wire. If there is no current, it always remains at vertical. It look like this. I is equals to 0. But if I am applying a current, now it is bending, it is deflecting, and current is upward, the wire deflects to the left. It deflects to the left hand side. Here it is the vertical. Now if I am pushing the current, it's deflect like this. It deflect like this, left. Okay. But when the current is downward, see, if upward, then it deflects left, but it downward deflects right. Okay. If the current is upward like this, is moving like this, okay, then it deflects like this. Okay. But if the current is like this, then the current moves to the wire moves to the right hand side. If see here, if current is in the out basically the upward direction, so it is bending towards the left, deflecting towards the left. But here in the second case, we can say, in the second case we having what, if the current is downward, then it deflects to the right. So upward, left, then right, so it is moving. So we can say force on a wire. So we can create or we can calculate how the force work on a wire. I hope you understand this thing. Now move forward. Now force on a wire second. If I am talking about the second, so the magnetic field is into the page. For example, I am understanding the magnetic field is onto the page. The current is up the page. A page is there. Now current is moving to the upwards up the page. The force is to the left. Now the basically what we having, it forces to the left, move to the left. If wire deflects to the left, forces to the left, then what happened, the wire deflects to the left. Now I'm understanding taking a basically magnetic field into the page. So similar things we can find from the previous thing, but now I'm basically taking example that I having a force, or basically the magnetic field is into the page. Magnetic field is where, into the page. Magnetic field is into the page. Okay, then current is up the page. If current is up the page, up, page is there, now it is upping, so force is to the left. It is moving like this, page is there, for current is moving like this upward, and it is forced to the left. Okay, now wire deflects to the left. Wire deflects to the left. See here, similar to this one, we having a wire which is placed in a magnetic field. If there is no current, it remains standstill. It is at the vertical position. But if there will be current and it is moving to the upward direction, going to the upward direction, then it's bent to the left. See here, basically move to the left. But if a positive field, then bend and basically move to the right, my dear student. Now, force on wire 3. Now, first the magnetic field is into the page. Now, second case, I am taking the second case. This is the main case, force on a wire. Now, I am assuming that magnetic field is into the page. So, what happens? In the left, if it is upward. Now, third case, the magnetic field is into the page. If magnetic field is into the page, the current is down to the page. Now, current is down to the page. Now, force do what? Basically, force is to the right, right, and the wire deflects to the right, upward, left, downward, right. Understand? So it is similar to that one, but I am taking three conditions into the page. Now I'm considering the force into the page, the magnetic field is into the page. So what can I want to say? What I want to say you basically, what I want to tell you regarding this thing. Now, if I'm assuming that is in the page, I'm assuming what I'm taking what I want to tell you basically. I'm assuming that magnetic field is into the page. I'm assuming what the magnetic field is in the page basically. Now, if it is in the page, so what happens if current is down the page? Current is down the page. Current is what? Down the page. So what will happen if current is down the page? So it the force due to that force, that is electromagnetic force through the current, is basically move that wire or move that wire into the left hand side if upward, and if it is downward, then it moves to the right. But I'm considering as the magnetic field is into the page. So hope you understand by these diagrams. That is very clearly shows you that if when the current is upward, the wire deflects to the left. When the current is downward, the wire deflects to the right. So I hope you understand about these things. Now move forward, my dear student. Now, the magnetic force is exerted on each moving charge in a wire. If I am talking about the force, I am talking about the electromagnetic force. We want to understand about the electromagnetic force. Okay. Now, the magnetic force is exerted on each moving charge in the wire. Now, what will happen? The magnetic force is exerted on each moving charge. Charge is moving. Now, magnetic force is exerted on each moving charges. Charge is moving. Force is exerting on it. Okay, in a wire. Now, it is given by a equation that is force into charge into velocity into magnetic field or magnetic basically field density. Q, that is the vector, the direction base. F vector is equals to Q V vector D into B. Okay, now the average magnetic force exerted on a charge moving in a wire is given by this. C, this the charge is moving here with the velocity V, and this is the area A. Now we are having in the magnetic field, so we can express it is a perpendicular to the velocity, like see here, and current is for basically current is moving in the wire. Now current is flowing in the wire, my dear student. It means the rate of flow of charges is flowing in that wire. Current is what? In simple way, I used to say that current is basically what? Current is what, my dear student? Current is the rate of flow of charges. The rate of flow of charges is known as current. So here, what I want to say you that in this, if I am representing this is a current, this is what? This is a current. This is the current, and due to that current basically charges is moving with the velocity v. So this is in the same phase, because if I'm talking about the current, so current means the charges are moving. The rate of flow of charge is known as current. So what it means, the basically current is flowing, the charge is also flowing with the velocity v. So here in a wire it is flowing, so due to the perpendicular of it we having the magnetic force in a magnetic field. B in shows what? B in shows what? Magnetic field. B in shows you the what? Magnetic field in cross dot out. Dot out in cross. So I am inning. So what I am writing here? In. That is cross. So in a wire with this area we having B is there. So we can write what will be the force value. Force value is this charge into with this velocity into the magnetic field. Here written it is. Here it is written. See, here it is written. Okay. Now the total force is the product of the force on one charge and number of charges. Okay. Now the total force is the product of the force on one charge and number of charges. The total force is the product of the force on one charge and the number of charges. One charge is there, and if having the number of charges, if I'm talking about the number of charges, my dear student, so I have to do the product of it. Take a product. See here, n is number of charges, a is your area, and l is the length. We can say so. The average magnetic force exerted on a charge moving in a wire is given by q vector vd into b, that is magnetic field density or magnetic field. See here, we having this magnetic field, charge is moving with the velocity, having the area, and total is the length, how much length it is moving, and I is the current which is flowing in it. So the magnetic force on a wire segment of length is I L into B. I L into B. The segment will become I L into B. L is the length and B is the magnetic field, you can say. So instead of this, we can write the force, all force value, we can write qv, that is the velocity, into b, magnetic field, in the, because these are the vector quantity, these are the vector quantity, direction based quantity, we can say. So n is number of there, a is the area, and l is the length of that wire. So I hope you understand about this thing, the force on a wire equation. Now if I am in the force on a wire, if I am having the force on a wire, so what will be the equation? So this will be the equation, my dear student. This is a simple moving a charge, but if having a number of charges, so this equation will change into this one. And here it is, a diagram shows you how it works. So I hope you understand, better understand by this. I showing here q, because charge is moving with the velocity, so qvd is called as I, we can say, into b, magnetic field. So force is exerted. So that is the value of electromagnetic force. So I hope you understand about the basics related to electromagnetic force. Okay, now move forward. Now force on a wire equation, I am continuing this thing. In terms of current, this becomes FBIL into B, where I is the current. I is the what? I is the current. We can also write like this. Magnetic force we can write like this. I L vector into B vector. Cross, we can say cross. So I is the current and L is a vector, direction based quantity, that points in the direction of the current. Basically it points the uh, which direction in the current. If current is flowing like this, so it behaving like this, it always represent this thing, behaving like this. So L is the vector, is a vector that points in the direction of the current, where the current, in which amount or which direction current is flowing. So L is a vector that always points in the direction of current. Its magnitude is the length of the segment. Its magnitude is what? Length of the segment. So I hope you understand. And B is always known by the magnetic field, and the B we always use for the magnetic field density. So instead of density, we can write magnetic field, because density is the flux per area, or we can say Weber per meter square. So I hope you understand this thing. Now moving forward. Now force on a wire arbitrary shape. Now, I dear student, I took what? I took a arbitrary shape. Arbitrary shape is what? The shape which is chosen by you, which is basically chosen by me. My choice is there that I have to make this direction. I have to make the another form of the magnetic field. Okay, or with a wire. So consider a small segment of wire, that is ds. The small segment of the wire I'm considering like this, a zigzag form like this, magnetic field and a wire. This is your magnetic field shown by the green color, and here it is shown by the basically the segment of the wire, and ds is flowing, the I is current is flowing, and ds we representing the small segment of the wire, ds. Okay, now the force exerted on this segment, if I'm talking about the force, because current carrying wire plays in a magnetic field, you can say. So it experience a force. So that force is given by IDS into B. IDS into B. So DS is segment and B is the magnetic field. Okay. Now the total force is what? Force FB is equals to I A to B. We having the ranges starting from A, ending on the B. So limit is between A and B. A and B. A is there and B is there. So limit will become A and B. Okay. So what I'm writing here, FB is equals to I with the limit of A to B. TS, the segment of the wire, we can say, into B. That is V. So what we can write here, the magnetic force on any segment TS is IDS into B and is directed out of the page. It is directed out of the page. Coming out of the page. It is like this. See here. So I hope you understand this thing. TS into I into B. Cross into B. That is always what? A force. Always what? A force. Crosses we are using. If I am talking about the vector quantity, we always use cross. And cross is basically the multiplication. But in the vector, we can say it is a cross. So what I am writing here, IDS cross B is basically what? The force on a wire, arbitrary shape. But if I'm talking about the same, that is IL into B, force on a wire, simple wire it is looking, simple wire or the place. But if I am taking the arbitrary, so the equation changes and the equation become this one. That FB is equals to I integration, because limit is there, then we having A to B limit and ds into P. So I hope you understand on arbitrary shape. Now next topic is what? Torque on a current loop. Now I'm talking about what? Torque on a current loop. If I'm talking about the force, my dear student, so if force is with the displacement, we can say very simple way, we can talk about very, we can a little talk about it in a very simple manner. If we having a torque, so torque is basically the force cross displacement, F into D in the vector quantity. So if we having the force applying, due to that force, if displacement occurs, so the cross of these two convert into the torque. That is F cross D. That is what? F cross D, my dear student. So torque on a current loop, torque on a current loop, we can identify like this. The rectangular loop carries a current I in a form. Now, this is a rectangular loop. Starting from here, I flowing to 2I, then I3, then I4. So it is moving in a rectangular form. And rectangular form is basically, how can you identify? The two opposite sides are equal. If I'm talking about the square, then all sides are equal. But if I'm talking about the rectangle side or rectangular shape, we can say that the opposite two sides are always equal in a rectangle. Okay, so the rectangular loop carries a current I in a uniform magnetic. It is a very uniform, no changes. So uniform magnetic field we are understanding from here, that the green line shows you the B. B is what? Magnetic field. And the maroon color, red color shape is shown the current. Okay, so no magnetic force exert on our sides 1 and 3. If I am talking about the 1 and 3, then there will be no force exerted, because this is the direction of the flux line, the force, magnetic basically, magnetic field. So magnetic field always always show by the flux, and flux always shows by the lines or the direction. So direction is showing here. See, like this, the direction is here. That is the direction of B. This is the direction of B, okay, in the green color, and this is the current. So if I'm talking about 1 and 3, because the two sides are equal, so in this means no magnetic force acts on side 1 and 3. No magnetic force is acting on 1 and 3. So what we can iterate? L into B is equals to 0. L into B is equals to 0. We can say this thing. Now the wires are parallel to the field. The wires are what? Basically what happens? Parallel to the field. So understand from the diagram, No magnetic force acts on side 1 and 3 because these sides are parallel to the B. These are sides is parallel to the B. That will happen. This is parallel to this. This is parallel to this. So no force will act on it. No force will act on it. But if I am talking about the side 2 and 4 are perpendicular to the magnetic field, so it experiences a force. If it is perpendicular to the magnetic field, these sides are perpendicular like this. If it is like this, for example, like this, or we can say like this, okay, then there will be no force exerted. But if it look like this, then there will be some force. So my dear student, 2 and 4 are basically perpendicular, so 4 will lie on it. Okay, if I am talking about 1 and 2, 1 and 3, sorry, 1 and 3, so this is parallel to this one, so no force exerted. Okay, I hope you understand. Now move forward. Now torque on a current loop. Torque on a current loop, I am taking the second conditions. I am taking about the second conditions in that same diagram. So there is a force on side 2 and 4. So as per the my previous discussion with you with the previous, I told you if the magnetic force is basically parallel the sides, then there will be no force acting. If it is perpendicular, then there will be some force exerted, that is electromagnetic force. So there is a force on sides 2 and 4 since they are perpendicular to the field. They are what? They are basically perpendicular to the field. The magnitude of the force on these sides will be, the magnitude of the force of these side will be F2 is equals to F4. These are equal IAB. IAB. Okay. I is current, A is given to area, and B is what? B is the magnetic field. So the direction of F2 is out of the page and F is into the F4 is into the page. So if I am talking about the force of F2, it is basically out of the page. It is basically out of the page. But if I'm talking the 4, it is into the page. F basically 2 out of the page and 4 is into the page. Okay. So same diagram is there. Sides 2 and 4 are perpendicular to the magnetic field. So it experiences what? It experiences the force. If no magnetic force act on side 1 and 3, because it is parallel to the B, that is magnetic field. So I hope you understand. Now my dear student, the torque on current loop, that is the third part. I am using the comma 3 means that is the third thing which I am taking here in your account to show you. The forces are equal and in opposite direction, but not along the same line of action. One is incoming, another one is outgoing. So we can say forces are equal and in the opposite direction. So one is moving like this, another one is basically like this. See, one is moving here, another one is moving there. So we can't say it is basically the forces are equal. They are equal in quantity, but the direction is opposite, but not along the same line of action. They are not along with the same line of action. So the force produces a torque around point O. The force is basically produce a torque. Produces a torque. Force produces a torque because we having force into displacement. That gives you the torque. Is the simple language. F cross D. If torque is vector, then F is vector, D is the vector. So we can write torque is equals to F cross D. So see here, my dear student, the magnetic forces F2 and F4, F2 and F4 exerted on sides 2 and 4. This is 2 out, basically this thing, and this is in 4. So B, if total B is there, so B by 2 is there, B by 2 is there, we can say. Now, create a dot that tends to rotate the loop clockwise. Create what? One thing is pushing here, another one is pushing here, so displacement is there, 1 2 pushing like this. So what will happen? Torque basically acts on them and try to rotate into clockwise direction. Try to rotate into clockwise direction. Okay, I hope you understand this thing. So it basically try to do what? It basically rotate the loop. If loop is there, into which direction? Clockwise direction. Into which direction, my dear student? Clockwise. So the force produces a torque around a point O here. See, and this move like this. Place the differences is there, and this due to O we will find the torque, and due to the torque it will start like this, rotate like this, like this, like this, okay, into the clockwise directions. Okay, I hope you understand. Now if I'm talking the torque on a current loop equation, that is the what, torque on a current loop, and the equation which we want to find, that will be the maximum torque is found, T maximum is equals to F2 B2 by 2, B by 2, sorry, that is B by 2. B by 2 is what, my dear student? B is what? B is basically the magnetic field, half magnetic field. So we can say F2 with B half magnetic field plus F4, the force exerted on the uh, fourth point, or we can say four sides are there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So forces acting on the 2 and 4 side. So the force on 2 is denoted as F2, and half magnetic field, that is B by 2, plus addition force on the fourth point, and with the half magnetic field, or half that magnetic field, that is B by 2. So we can write IAB B by 2 plus IAB B by 2. Okay. So if we take addition of these two, so we can directly take this IAB B, IAB into B. A is the part, B is the part, area means, and B is the magnetic field. So the area enclosed by the loop is AB. AB is total enclosed by the loop. C, that is AB, we can say here, and this is the A, this is your area, length into breadth. So AB is denoted by the what is this, my dear student? That is the basically area, length into breadth. So length into breadth, so area will become here. So IAB will become what? The area enclosed by the loop is AB. So T maximum will become what? I into AB. I into AB. I hope you understand. Now the maximum value occurs only when the field is parallel to the plane of the loop. The maximum value occurs only when the field parallel to the plane of loop. If there is a plane of loop, then if it is parallel, so we can say the maximum value occurs at that time. So torque on a current loop equation we can find from this. I hope you understand about the first thing, that is the force, electromagnetic force. Then we have the torque on a current loop. Okay. First, the one thing is there, force applied. If a current carrying conductor plays in a magnetic field, so due to that magnetic field, what will happen? Force exerted on it. I told you, force, how force exerted on it. If rectangle is there, if perpendicular, that thing is perpendicular to the magnetic field, force applied. If parallel, no force applied. But basically the perpendicular two will get the force. If force are there, two forces are there, then one is acting outward, one is acting inward, opposite things, equal but in the opposite manner. So there will be some deflection, some displacement will be there. Due to that displacement, what will happen? Torque take place. So first force take place. How? Whenever there is a current carrying conductor plays in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. So due to this, we having a force. If force is applied on it, so something is moving. Something, if we push something, like for example, I want to push something. So if I'm pushing one thing, so one place is the initial, then we have the final position. So initial and final is basically the displacement, the movement. Due to that movement, force is applying on it. What will we get, my dear student? We'll get what? We'll get the torque. So that is your torque. I hope you understand. Now, torque on a current loop in general way. If I'm talking about the torque on a current loop is general, so assume the magnetic field makes an angle of theta is less than 90 degree with a line perpendicular to the plane of loop. With a line perpendicular to the plane of loop. Okay, here like this F2. Now, plane of loop. The net torque about point O will be time IAB sin theta. Now previously we have identified that IAB is the value of torque. But if angle is there, means it is moving like this, not a plane. First they are in the plane space, now they are making some angle, theta. They are making some angle theta here. So we can write what? Instead of writing no theta means in the previous case there was no angle, but in this case we have angle theta. So we can write what? IAB sine theta. IAB sine theta for this diagram. See here. In previous diagram, this one we having no angle. See, it is very plain. But now in this we having some angular displacement that is made by the angle theta. So we can write what? IAB sine theta. So makes the normal to the loop makes an angle theta. Normal to the loop makes an angle that is theta. With the magnetic field, the momentum arm of the torque is B by 2 sine theta. We called as a sine theta form. Now here B by 2 sine theta. If we having angle here, we can also write like B by 2 sine theta. So I hope you understand about this. Okay. Now, if I'm talking about torque on a current loop, if I want to calculate the torque on a current loop, so what we can write here, the torque has maximum value when field is perpendicular to the normal. When the field is always perpendicular like this. If plane is there, if it is perpendicular 90-degree normal to the plane of loop, then we can write IA into B, IA cross B. The torque is zero when the field is parallel to the normal to the plane. I already told you, A dash is perpendicular to the plane of the loop and has a magnitude equal to the area of that loop. If area is there, so it will become area equal to the area of that loop A. So the equation become I A vector cross B vector. I hope you understand this thing now. So from the previous one, there's some from the my lecture. I basically put some MCQs for you. That is multiple choice question. Now find the torque in a conductor having a current 2 ampere, flux density 50 units. Okay, length is 15 centimeter, and and the distance of 8 meter. Okay, so I is given to you, P is given to you, length is given to you, and breadth is given to you, that is distance. So length into breadth will become area. So 15 centimeter covered into first change into the meter. Okay, divide by 100, and distance of 8 meter. Then I A into B. I is given to you, B is given to you, A you can find. So you will get the answer. The distance of a conductor when area and the length of the conductor is this one. Okay, when the length of the conductor is 224 meters square and 13.556 meter respectively. To we having the area and length. Area was 2 meters 24 meters square and the length is 13.56 meter. So area is given to you, length is given to you, the distance. So a length into distance is equals to area. So we can easily identify how area is given, length is given. So A by D. Okay, A by L is equals to D. We can easily find. Now the torque on a conductor with flux density given, current is given, area directly given. So I A into B. Previously I told you that the torque of a conductor is defined only in the case when the field is perpendicular to the loop, the plane of loop is parallel to the field, the plane of the loop is perpendicular to the current direction, the field and the current directions are same. So you have to find. You have to find, my dear student. Here it is. Now find the angle at which torque is minimum. Find the angle where torque is minimum. So you have to identify the angle is given to you. We find the equation in the angle. So at which angle it will become zero. Okay. Now the magnetic moment and torque are related as follows. The magnetic moment and the torque are related as follows. So moment is there. So you can identify. Now the magnetic moment of a field with current 12 ampere and the area is 1.6 units. So you have to just multiply and get answer. In a field having force of 12 and the distance is 20 centimeter, then the torque will be. So you have to identify how to do. Now the magnetic flux density is directly proportional to the magnetic field intensity. So you have to state it into true and false. Now magnetic field lines move from north to south to north, east, west to east, and east to west. These two are the basic question. But before this, the questions are related to this lecture, basically, which I taught you. So I hope you understand about the topics which we covered in the lecture. Now, the references are R.K. Srivastava, A.E. Fieldgarrett, Stephen J. Chapman. So, of the Lineage for Learning, that is Electrical Machines, is a very good book. You can just go through it I took something from it. These are the references for it. Okay, so I hope you understand about this whole. So thank you for my side. I hope you understand about this lecture and understand about the two things, that is electromagnetic force and the electromagnetic torque. So it is all about from my thighs. Thank you for listening. Thank you, students.